All set, Jeffrey.
Go ahead.
I took your microphone already. We good?
We're good.
All right, I'd like to start this meeting of DGR Monday, April 22nd. It is 6:32 p.m. With us, we have Counselors Devine, Sullivan, Ocasio, and Anderson Burgos, and myself, Gibner. Yeah. I guess we can get a motion to accept the minutes.
Second?
Oh, sorry. Also in the audience is Counselor Bartley. Sorry, Counselor. Um, So a motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, it looks like everybody's here for something, so we can just go straight through.
Motion to take up item number 2. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item number 2 is a public hearing for a special permit application for home occupation at 42 Arnadale Avenue for a driveway seal coating business. It looks like the owners or some representatives are here for that. And who's here for that, 42 Arnadale?
I'm here,
Okay, are you the owners?
no, I'm here just now.
For the public hearing? Okay, thanks.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I guess, yeah, we will hear from the public if you'd like to come to the microphone, state your name and address, and share your comments. Is it,
Is the microphone on?
Is that,
okay.
okay, is that good? There you go. Hi, Carrie Natz, live at 19 Arnodale Avenue. I'm not really sure of all of the particulars. I read the application. However, I'm concerned about the smell of the seal coating business. I know that when you put down an application of whatever the chemical is, it creates a smell. I just want to point out, though, I have smell sensitivities for my health, and I'm kind of very concerned about that. I don't know if it's something that's like when you put down and do a driveway. I know that, you know, the smell permeates the air. I'm not sure if the chemicals that are contained with it do the same thing. In addition, the only other thing that I would be concerned about is two things, really, is that my understanding is it's a tenant, not an owner, and so if there's a spill or some type of leak, they don't really have the permanency of an owner. In order to clean it up, they can just move out, and, you know, the owner obviously would be responsible. However, my understanding is he's not a local landlord. And then the third thing would be the chemicals that are needed in order to clean your brushes, your equipment, where that is being done, and because I know that usually it's like a turpentine or some type of chemical that's needed to clean it, and where is that being done, and how is that being disposed of? And that's it. I don't know.
All right.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
sure,
sure.
please.
That was,
You're welcome.
that was all I had to say. So.
Just your name and address. for
Arthur
the-
Natz, 19 Arnoldale Avenue.
Okay.
Okay. Generally, I don't need a mic.
You're good.
Yeah, okay, very good. One of the, Carrie talked about sensitive smells. Myself, over the years, I've been in construction for years. I've used the process. Obviously, there's a lot of different products, but I've never found one that doesn't have an odor. And also, being in the neighborhood, seeing the trailer, it's an open trailer with that they're going to use this process with a spray applicator on the trailer. So I'm unsure about the process to go from purchased material into the trailer in order for it to be applied. And my knowledge and use over the years is that's a very messy process. And there's also children in the area that I just don't see this being a good mix. And with the definitions here of a home occupancy, I see several different areas where it steps outside of that. One being commercial vehicles, and number two, doesn't produce an offensive noise, smoke, dust, odors, heat. I feel that that those things are going to be violated right out of the gate just by storing the material in the driveway. So I'm heavily opposed to this. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Good evening. I'm Maureen Reardon, 40 Arnadale Avenue. Thank you for having me. I did email the committee and Mr. Burgos Anderson, who was kind enough to give me the process. I did take some pictures because I am the abutter, and I would like you, if you could, just notice how close my property is. I am, like many people in Oakdale, on a postage stamp, and I love it. And so I did end my pictures just to show you what the house looks like at the corner of my property. I laid this out not to be an argumentative neighbor. I'm all pro-business. I'm pro-everybody's economy. So I think, at the end of this, I think it's clear that the applicant does not meet the guidelines at all. And even if we were going to be special, I think the only thing that really comes from this objection is to find out what could we do as a city to promote economic equality, justice all around the bend for any kind of business, maybe a city yard, et cetera. There are 2 small children in that home. In my home, there are 2 grown young men finding their way into life that I'm still responsible for. There's asthma in my house, anxiety, a whole host, a number of things. The engine has been on at least 3 times. One day it was on when I wasn't in the home. I walked into the home. I thought my house was on fire. And another day, so highly offensive, with the windows down. It is loud. Now today I just happened to be cleaning my yard, and a tag from, it must be the engine, because then I looked it up, and it specifically says, don't use near windows, don't use near vibration. I did call Holyoke Fire Department hoping for a fire report. I went through the Mass General laws from the fire prevention, which this is not my area either. However, there's no egress now at the back of the home, so the trailer is parked. If there were a safety issue in that home, which there are 2 children, at least under 10, and 4 other occupants, no one would be able to get out. It wouldn't be quick. I'm concerned for sure about my property, the smell, and I've said that, it's a carcinogen, it's known. It's highly flammable. It's sitting over where their oil tank is. That's a Mass State fire prevention law. The width and guides of where you're gonna park something and where it can be stored and how close to places is also there. If you can notice in the picture, this is not a gas tank. It's not a couple of gas tanks. This is a large vat that looks like you could swim in. And I'm not good at measuring, and I didn't measure it, but if the back of that trailer is, 4 to 6 feet wide, this is a vat at least 4 feet. It has a round top of a manhole, and I can see that from my bedroom window. I showed you the pictures to show you my roof line, to show you, to give you that idea. And I know that this is an issue probably all around the city. How do we mix business? This is not a home occupation, I can't even say it now. This is not home occupancy. Thank you. And maybe there's another way that we can, foster the business idea with a nice landlord who has a city yard but to be doing this work in the driveway, no, it's not going to be good. And even looking at the tax assessor's map, and again, my property, and I thought about it before, I just want to be a better neighbor than an awful neighbor. The fence is my fence. It just happens to be facing my way. And his driveway is actually my driveway. So I could actually go in, fence that border at least 2 feet into that driveway, and really box them out. I would never do that because it's not even neighborly in Oakdale. It's not how we operate. The fence is very old. However, there's so much debris on it. There's already oil there. Underneath this trailer, the description of it, who cares something's tarped or that it doesn't look great? I don't care. It's not my business or concern. Underneath it is, everything catching oil. It's the noxious smell of it would make anybody miserable and unhappy. But I would say that in this meeting, and I did call Whitman Properties, so they've been informed as well. My number one concern is there's 2 children in that house. That is it. Because my health and my family, you know, we're adults. There are children in that home that just play like average, regular young kids. So I am a no, and it's a hard no. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So they're not here.
Unless,
Anybody wants to speak in favor?
the applicant? Okay.
So is this the neighbor, the business? Okay. We should let him speak.
Absolutely. Would you like to come up to the podium and talk about your business? And just your name and address, please.
My name is Florin Meridian. My address is 42 Arnodale Ave. I'm the one petitioning for the seal coating business. I mean, the fire department came to my house on Friday, and they found no problems with it. It's a small tank. It's 4 by 2, and about 2 to 3 feet, about 2 feet tall. It holds about 100 gallons of seal coating. It's closed. You have a big lid that closes. So there's really not much smell from it because it's all self-contained. There's no flammable stuff because it's all water-based. So, and you use water to clean up any the equipment and stuff like that. And I don't know what. There's no hazards or smell or anything else like that.
What's the chemical base, what's the definition, or not the definition, the name for the chemical that you use?
I'm not really sure. I didn't. And now I go to there's a place in Hartford called Seal Master that you go and they fill it up bulk into the tank, and then you do the driveways, and then you finish it up, and you come back home, and it's empty.
So the reason why I ask is because if you look at EPA laws, you can't even change your oil on your car. So we need to know what kind of chemicals you're using, or that you would be using if this passed, because to me, we have to protect the neighborhood. And
Okay.
the surrounding, that's very important.
Well, I mean, you put it on driveways, so it can't be anything hazardous or stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know what. I mean, I can look it up.
But right, and there's chemicals that you can use, and there's a curing time, right?
Right.
So chemicals, during that curing time is the time you can't come in contact with it. So we need.
No, it's the curing time is for it to dry, so you don't mess it up. But I mean, you can touch it and you can get it on you. I mean, because all these people they do. I mean, the people that do this type of job, they do get it on them, and it's not like it's water based, and it's not. They haven't had any problems. There's no it doesn't burn or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't burn your skin or anything else like that.
I'm wondering, so are you performing the functions of this business at this address?
No.
You're,
That's just where I'm storing my my trailer,
Okay.
my equipment. It's all on. It's a small 5x8 trailer, and all I have is a pump and a hose with a spray unit at the end and a tank. Like I said, the fire department came Friday on. I guess you guys sent them to my house to look at it, and she said everything was fine. She didn't find any problems with it. There's no explosives or any type of fire thing, something that would start a fire or anything like that. So it's not. I know what other people. There's no smell because it's all enclosed in a big tank, and once you got the lid on, it's all contained. So there's no smell that gets out. I mean, when you apply it to a driveway, there's a smell for, like a couple of hours or something, and then it goes away.
Yeah, but you're not applying it at the location. This is when you're going to
Right.
conduct
When you
business.
go to other people's driveways and do their thing, yes.
How is this secured where the chemicals is contained? How is it secured?
It's,
Is there easy? Can someone just walk up and open it up? Is there a lock?
there isn't now, but I can put a lock on it.
Madam Chairman, whenever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please.
Counselor Devine?
All right, is this a one-family or two-family house?
It's a one-family
One
house.
family, and you're the only tenant?
Yes.
Okay, and will you be having any other employees besides yourself?
No.
Okay. One of the concerns I had, you did say that there's a note from the lieutenant in the fire department, and although she says, let's see, he does not store any materials, and stated that the 150-gallon tank gets filled at the location where he buys the sealant. Where do you usually buy sealant?
In Hartford.
In Hartford. And it's put into this 150-gallon tank?
Yes.
And then where do you go with that tank?
To the customers' houses.
To the what?
Customers' houses.
Okay. And she did say that your backyard, and there's pictures here too, and driveway are very messy, so I see the potential of getting worse and being an eyesore to the neighborhood. Perhaps you should get the Board of Health to stop by and order him to clean the property before you issue a permit contingent on him cleaning the property. So I do have a problem with that, and I've seen the pictures. I did read Lorraine Reardon's statement, and she was up here as well. I know where the street is. I know that these houses are close together, and I see the pictures that she's done, and the runoff water is a concern to me. Has been notorious residential unclean oil leaking due to continuous repair of several motor vehicles on the property. Are you repairing vehicles on your property?
I work on my own cars, yes.
Can't do that.
You can't work on your own car and your own.
You can, I think you can change your tires. I don't think you can change your oil. There's several things you're not supposed to be doing that. How many cars do you have, or trucks, or whatever?
I have 3 vehicles.
Vehicles? Okay, because that's a problem as well.
I was not aware that you can't work on your own
Yeah.
cars.
And then this seal coat, it says, a major health hazard according to the United States Geological Survey due to the risk of exposure to cancer-causing polycystic aromatic hydrocarbons. Typical contents are typically 20 to 35% coal tar pitch containing 50,000 to 100,000 parts per million. I just have a real problem with one, that you're repairing cars. And again, not everybody knows you can't do that. But I am concerned with the pictures I see of the debris and the messiness of the driveway. And
That's the fences coming down, and I thought it was my landlord. My landlord is in the process of trying to get that fence repaired. But I guess Lauren says that it's her fence. The wooden fence is your fence.
It's actually my fence, and all of the things that are on your property is actually my property. Right from the garage down to the line.
She's got to be on the microphone.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we have to have everyone speak into microphones because the public can't hear you.
Do you want me to answer him, or?
You can if you like.
I can wait till he's done and just for what?
It should be directed like this.
so I see the pictures. It's more than just a fence. The
Like my grandkids' toys and stuff like that.
no, this is more than that. I'm just trying to see where the pictures are. That the special permit on number 2. There's 5 elements of City Council providing a special permit. That it does not produce offensive noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odors, heat, lighting, lighting, electrical interference, radioactive emission, or environmental pollutions. I do have a problem with that, according to Laureen Reardon, who lives right next door to you. She has a problem with the smell and things like that. So
There's no smell emitting from it, only when you apply it. Otherwise, it's self-contained, so there would be no smell until you apply it, until you actually put it down, until you take it out of the tank. But normally the tank is closed and it'll normally be empty, so there's no real smell from it. It's like when they do the streets and stuff like that, it's like there's no smell until they do the asphalt. And when they do that for a short period of time, there's a smell because you're applying fresh sealant. But once it's dried, there's no smell.
And how do you know that somebody needs their driveway done? Do you have a phone number that they call?
Yes.
And are you advertising that somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, where do you advertise it?
I would advertise through signs, through social. I haven't started really advertising yet, but I would put ads around and stuff like that.
Okay, and how long have you been doing this business?
I just I did it before out of Westfield. I did it a few years, and then I stopped, and then I decided to start up again.
Okay,
Before I was doing it manually, by taking I was filling up barrels and using buckets and pouring it down and using a squeegee to put it over the driveway. But I wanted to, because I'm getting older and I wanted to be able to do it by myself, I bought a spray unit so I can just spray it on the driveways instead of having to squeegee it and carry buckets and stuff like that.
have you seen the pictures?
I have not.
Okay, is it all right if I show him is that all right if I show him the pictures of the backyard? Just so you're aware of the mess that's back there.
We have to read those into the public record, those comments.
I don't know and this must be, so see that is right on the property. And there's some other ones too. It's a little hard to see, but I wanted you to be aware that they were there.
Open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is the lid open? If you go someplace to pick up the product, why is the lid open?
I don't know when she took that. I might have been out there doing. I was testing my pump and stuff. So I opened the lid. I put water in there.
Counselor Devine, we can't hear anything, and this is a public hearing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can't hear anything, so,
Sorry, I just wanted to show.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Counselor Sullivan?
Oh, I'm all set, thank you.
No, I'll hold out it's still public hearing, so.
I also don't see what the stuff in the backyard has to do with my trailer and the business.
I'll just add something. It does concern the fire department. It's right there in her note,
Okay.
okay?
Like I said, I know that the landlord is looking to rebuild the deck, and I assume that that fence that is falling down belonged to my landlord, but Lauren says that it's her fence, and it's falling down across the whole line. I mean, there's like five or six panels, and they're all been knocked down by the wind. They're all old, they're deteriorated really bad. And I was talking to the landlord and putting up a new fence because of the problem. He's in the process of getting estimates, and we're going to get a dumpster and get rid of all that stuff and the extra debris that I have in the backyard. That was part of the thing. But if she says it's her fence, then I guess it's her responsibility to repair it.
Well, the lieutenant from the fire department does say to us, perhaps you should ask the Board of Health to stop by and order him to clean the property before you issue the permit or contingent on him cleaning the property. So I wanted you to be aware of that as well.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman. You got to come to the,
As I said, I found this today, and on the Be Safe, I'm assuming it's from his engine. So the smell is from a gas-powered engine along with the vat. Again, I think this is an awful position to be in as a very close, tight neighbor. But I am advocating for the children in that home as well as for my family's health. But if you can put this into evidence, and it just says about the safety issue, which is not to be near windows and doors when operating. And the things that he said about the chemical, I did some pretty heavy research. That you can have coal tar pitch, you can have water solvent. This is a highly flammable. I think the fire department laws, and I'm not going to say anything that our fire department is wrong. This board did not ask our fire department to appear there, so maybe we should have a real fire department report and ask for a report if it doesn't, if this isn't just a no, because this is 120 something gallons. So I didn't know how many gallons, but I think Mass General Fire Department law says it's like 60 gallons is your max in a residential area. So you certainly wouldn't have it 4 feet away from a residence, which is their residence. It's 8 feet off of my window, off of my first floor, not my second floor. So this is a huge concern. But I just want to offer this, and you can have it and put it with the rest of it so we can see it. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Could you just, I didn't know.
So your name and your address, please?
Oh, again? Sure, Carrie Natz, 19 Arnodale Ave. I didn't know, you said you go and you fill it up and you go to customer's house, but if you don't use the whole 150 gallons, does it stay in the tank? And then how do you clean that out? Where do you clean it out?
When the way this
Yeah.
meetings are run, you have to direct it to us.
Okay, so that would be,
Yeah,
Okay.
just because there shouldn't be back and forth
okay.
between.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was saying that earlier, that I wish that we could have just talked like neighbors
Yeah,
before we
of
came
course,
here. That would
please,
have
yeah.
given us some information. So yeah, so that would be my question is, what do you do? Because if you do a small driveway and it only takes 50 gallons, does the other 100 gallons sit in that tank until you go to a next job or something? And then how do you clean it out? Is that, I heard you say that you pour water in it, so I don't know how you clean that and where that
Water
I guess
goes to
the
waste.
stuff goes. Yeah, thank you.
Could you answer that, please?
Floor Meridian. I would get enough. I line up the customers, and I only get enough seal coating for the particular job that I'm doing. I don't want to store any extra. And you clean it with water, so there's nothing flammable. I don't know what Lauren is talking about, but there's nothing flammable because it's all water soluble. And also the engine is for the pump. It's like it's the same thing with a lawnmower. I mean, you operate lawnmowers near the houses, or even small tractors near the houses. This is only 200 cc's pump, so it's no bigger than a go-kart engine.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's like if you're able to operate lawnmowers near houses, I don't see why this is a problem. And I wouldn't be operating it near the house or anything else like that. It's operated like on the street. You put it on the street, and then you do the people's driveways. So, and you clean it up with, it gets cleaned up with water.
Okay, thank you. So the public hearing's still open. Sorry? Counselor Bartley?
Just through the chair, Mike, did you ask your question, or are you all set?
Well, I was going to wait till we close the
Yeah.
public hearing.
Oh, you want to close it? Oh, okay, yeah, I don't want to close it. Could you just come up to Mike? So I'll introduce myself. I'm David Bartley, and I'm the Ward 3 representative. So nice to meet you. And nice to meet all of you who I haven't met, okay? First off, everybody wants to have, and you heard Ms. Reardon say that, wants to have business in the city. Mm-hmm. Why must this be at your home? Because you had it at your home in Westfield?
Yes,
Okay, and how did it work out there?
it worked out fine. I didn't have any problem.
All right. And was it the same kind of condensed lot area, or was it a wider expanse?
It was a tighter lot.
It was a tighter lot.
Tighter lot.
Okay, all right. But why must it be at your house? Why can you not? Is it? Why can't you? Is there no place you can rent? Is there no other place you can conduct this business, or is it just so small it's not worthwhile?
Right. It's the trailer is only 5 by 8. I mean, it's a really tiny. You can barely fit like a lawnmower tractor on there.
All right. Is this your livelihood?
No.
Okay. So this is a what is it? Tell me what is your livelihood?
I work at Pride as an assistant manager.
Oh, great. Okay. So like full time.
Yes.
So this is a side job.
Yes.
All right. And so I'm getting conflicting things here. So. I see the letter from Lieutenant Pelchar, and I'm hopeful that you'll get a copy of that, and I'm hopeful that this will get continued, because I think some work has to be done here. And I don't know who sent the fire department. So to say that we did it,
That's what she told me.
well, she's
she said the
Lieutenant-
city sent her.
Time out for sports. I'm just okay. So you can't just say we did it. She did. I mean, it's got to be somebody specific. Okay. So I don't know who sent that. So that's got to be specified.
me
And
that-
I'll
Counselor Bartley,
Okay.
what's that?
tone it down.
See-
Tranquilo,
Really?
please.
Break. Okay, so you need to tell me or tell us who it is that sent.
She didn't tell me. She
Okay,
told me
well
the city
we'll find out.
sent her.
Okay, the city sent. Okay, well that's now. Is there or is there not something stored outside?
There is not.
Okay, so anything you pick up from Hartford is kept where? Inside the trailer?
Yes.
So it never leaves the trailer.
Correct.
Okay. Do you have to have a permit to carry that stuff over state lines?
No.
Do you have to have a license to do that kind of business?
No.
Why is it that the abutters are saying that there's a potential for it's flammable? Why are they saying that?
I have no idea because it's all water based. There's no. I talked to the fire. Was she the deputy or something?
Lieutenant Pelcher.
Okay, and I told her everything. She saw me putting water in there and everything. It's like there's nothing flammable. The only thing that's flammable is the little bit of gasoline that I put in the pump.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, we understand gasoline's flammable.
But other than that, there's nothing flammable.
Okay. What about the issue of odors? Because that is clearly spelled out in the permit. So it says does not produce offensive noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odors, heat, lighting, electrical interference, radioactive emission, or environmental pollution.
Correct.
So you've got all that covered.
Yes.
You heard from one of the abutters that she's got a particular sensitivity to it. So what if the permit is granted and she raises that, which is, it's a health concern. What if she raises that to you? What then?
I would have to. I guess I would have to rent a garage somewhere or something.
Right. So what can happen here is that
I could clean out my garage and store it in my garage.
we're just giving thoughts here. So one of the things that we can do in the ordinance under special, we can condition special permits, and whoever wrote it so beautifully so many years ago. It's as broad as the horizon. So any reasonable condition that we want to impose, we can, including if the abutter, for example, raises a serious health concern, raises a concern. We can have the permit pulled. That could potentially be a reasonable. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
So so just to make it super duper clear, if the abutter says about odors or noise or anything like that, they just recommend the whole body takes a vote. That's the process. So they can put that as a condition on the permit. And if any of the abutters complain, they can come here or send an email to the clerk, and they'll pull you a permit immediately. You would be okay with that?
To a certain degree, I mean.
Well, it's got to be reasonable.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
it's just
like I said, the motor does not make any more noise than the lawnmower does.
okay. What are your usual hours of work?
At my work?
No, for this deal. When do you usually?
Oh, it would be like in the mornings usually. Like I'd be out of the house by 7 o'clock, go to Hartford, pick up the stuff, and go hit clients by like 9 o'clock or something.
Okay, and so when you go to Hartford, you pick it up and you go to the clients and you bring the trailer back home and it's what, empty?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then, so there's not going to be any foot traffic there. There are no customers coming by, right?
Correct.
Is there any signage outside?
No.
Where's the vehicle parked? The trailer?
In my driveway.
It would always be in the driveway, right? When
Yes.
it's not going to be on the street, right? Can't be on the street.
It can be on the street.
Well, no, no. Trailers, commercial trailers are not allowed to park more than 24 hours. That is an ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about the ordinance about doing, like changing oil. I've never seen that one myself, but I'd love to read it, because I haven't seen it. I don't doubt that it exists. I've just never seen it. So hopefully at some point, somebody, Jeff maybe can get us a copy of that ordinance, and we can look at it, because I do work on my car in my driveway, and no one's come by yet with an ordinance book saying you can't do it. So, but I need to get that in writing. Just hold on a second. I just want to make sure that that we're hitting all the high points here. Okay, so, and it says it pretty clear in the ordinance, does not utilize exterior storage of material or equipment, including the parking of commercial vehicles. So does your trailer have a commercial plate?
No.
It does not, okay, all right. All right, well, but you heard their concerns.
Yes.
So if I was to give my 2 cents, and I'll speak directly to the chair at this point, but if I was to give my 2 cents, it would be nice if you would maybe huddle up with your neighbors. Hopefully they'll continue this, and you huddle up with your neighbors, and then, figure out a game plan. I want you to be in business. Oh, well, one other thing. You do realize that if this permit is granted, that is going to impact the tax basis for your homeowner, correct? You do know that, right? So
I did not realize.
okay, well, so part of the business, well, city's got to get their cut too, right? So part of the business, the business part, I should say, would be taxed at the commercial property rate.
Okay.
Okay, so I think you want to run that by Mr. Property Owner just to make sure he's okay with that.
Well, if I gave him the extra money, I don't think he would have a problem with that.
Yeah, I realize it, but I'd rather see it in writing.
Okay.
Frankly. So, all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bartley. So the public hearing's still open. I just wanted to see if there was any more comments from the public. Yes, sir?
Arthur Natz, 19 Arnoldale Avenue. I went on the Sealmaster website, and there's over 25 different products here. Some of them are mixed by Sealmaster, some of them are mixed by the individual, some are not required mixing at all. So it's very unclear as to what product is being used here. I'd be very interested to find out exactly what is being applied and if there's multiple things being applied. And I really challenge the ability to call this trailer, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but this openable tank on a trailer. I see a lot of problems with cleaning after the project. If there is a spill of some sort, you have to be really, really good to come back to your place of business with no product in your tank. I've done construction in general for years, and nobody is that good at estimating. So you have to do something with the extra. I'd be happy to talk and help work out solutions, but I'm really opposed to this in this manner. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a comment or a question,
Okay.
whatever.
I just wanted to make sure to read the other public comments here into record while the public hearing's still open. I don't see anyone online. So the first comment, I stopped by 42 Arnodale Ave and spoke to Mr. Meridian. He seems to be a small operation. He has a small open trailer to haul his equipment. He does use a generator to mix, but I told him to find out the city noise ordinances, so we talked about that a little. He has the trailer parked on the driveway. He does not store any materials, and he stated that the 150-gallon tank gets filled at a location where he buys the sealant. So when it comes to the fire department, I see no issues. However, his garage, backyard, and driveway are very messy, so I see potential of that getting worse and being an eyesore for the neighborhood. Perhaps you should ask the Board of Health to stop by and order him to clean the property before issuing a permit, or contingent on him cleaning the property. So that was from Lieutenant Maria Pelcher at the Holyoke Fire Department. This one's a little longer, so bear with me. Dear Mr. Jeffrey Anderson Burgos, hearing members, committee members, and city councilors, I'm responding to a hearing notice sent to me regarding the application at the hearing. My name's Laureen Reardon. I'm the owner at 40 Arnondale, lot 76, lot 76, Holyoke, Mass, and have lived here for 14 years. My property abuts and is also a part of the driveway at 42 Arnondale, which we heard you speak about. I object to the request for the special permit as it does not meet the instruction of the current city policy for special permit under 4.8.2, application for home occupation requesting by the tenant at 42 Arnondale. Whitman Properties has an arrangement with the owner in California and the tenant to collect. They do not maintain the outside of the property. I note this as the property has not been free of outside debris, including a lean-to shelter, mattresses, an interior couch, and rotting trash as norm since tenant moved in. The property has a double-wide garage and a large yard, which the grass is not maintained. A previous trailer filled with rotting trash sat in the driveway for 8 months and attracted large animals to the trash pile nightly. A fence on my property and alongside the drive at 42 Arnondale continues to be ignored by tenant to the point of disrepair. And we covered that's the fence you were talking about, I guess. The neighborly created boundary has been the dropping point for much debris by the applicant of special permit here. Trash, motor oil, buckets of standing water, soaked tools, and car parts with greasy liquid, along with empty motor oil, plastic, and a host of strewn trash is the normal regard at 42 Arnondale Avenue with the current tenants. The prior tenant did not have these issues, as I was able to mow alongside my fence on side yard and grow flowers and vegetables and weed without issue. My side yard is often littered without care, as well as with wind-blown trash on my front yard from this property. I placed a barrel with a liner for over a year between the properties with a bag to be neighborly and maintain unwanted debris which flowed onto my property. The applicant's inability to maintain the residence and property at 42 Arnondale has been the pattern for years. The request and application does not meet the guidance of special permit for a home occupation. A hitched trailer with a gasoline tank, a large storage tank with a wide body opening, valves and pumping and hoses and maintenance, cleaning and fixing product are primary business tasks which have occurred in the driveway already while waiting for approval. The engine creates an offensive noise, vibration, heat, smoke, and a strong offensive burning odor. Driveway sealant is a known health hazard and pollutant. While running, the engine emits smoke, dust, and pollutants to the air, and when the hot tank emits vapors and offensive smell. It utilizes exterior storage of a tank outside on a parked trailer and a business-related vehicle per application being labeled flow services equipment related to the business of the driveway sealing. The business is not conducted within the dwelling, and the residence is changed in appearance by the above-mentioned items. I strongly object to granting this request by the applicant for special permit at 42 Arnondale Avenue for driveway seal coat business under home occupation. The adverse impacts and risks associated to the health and recreation and to the 2 children who reside in the residence are sincere. I have watched these children unattended in their driveway playing, climbing on parked vehicles, locking themselves in vehicles, climbing on the hood and roof of SUVs without parental guidance. The same children also explore the residence, including playing on the driveway with chalk bikes and barefoot. Playing in the water. Hose access on home is where trailer is currently parked, and the lid of the container of the storage tank appears easy to open. The equipment is not safe for small children as a daily obstacle for good health and safety, welfare, and recreation. The trailer is not fenced in and is easily viewed from the sidewalk and street, and the trailer blocks the back entrance to the tenant's residence and is located above the resident's oil tank. Impact on the health and welfare of myself and my family. The continued normal use maintenance of my home would be conditioned around these driveway business activity, including the lasting smell which, without the windows open, permeated my home for several hours each time I was home when this occurred thus far. The hearing notice gave me the understanding of why I had been entered my home on 2 occasions recently, smelling a heavy burning smell. Usage of my home, a small parcel for basic living enjoyment such as windows open, enjoying the side yard, gardening, sitting outside, including a use of air conditioners meant to help families concerned with asthma, will be conditioned to the business at 42 Arnodale Ave. I'm very concerned about the safety to my family as well as the children mentioned above. My family has a range of health concerns that conflict with smell, smoke, and inhalation of known cancer-causing smoke, dust, and fumes. Contaminated runoff water from 42 Arnodale Ave driveway has been notorious for residual uncleaned oil leaking due to continuous repair of several vehicles on the property. The tracking of dust and chemicals into my home from my own home care, such as mowing the lawn, and the probable curtailment of vegetable or even bringing flowers in the home or giving away would be other concerns. Seal coat is a major health hazard according to the U.S. Geological Survey due to the risk of exposure to cancer-causing polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Typical contents are typically 20 to 35% coal, tar, pitch, containing 50,000 to 100,000 parts per million polycyclic or aromatic hydrocarbons. For these reasons, I'm asking that a special permit for driveway seal coat business is not granted at 42 Arnodale Avenue. Sincerely, Lorraine Reardon, 40 Arnodale Avenue. See map and pictures which were shared. All right. Do we have other comments from counselors or questions?
I just had one. Oh, sorry, Mike, you haven't spoken. Go ahead.
Counselor Sullivan?
Well, should we close the public hearing first or
I'm sure.
continue?
So,
Madam Chair,
yes.
just one note. I'm not sure if you saw it in the email today, but I did get a brief follow-up from Timothy Rivers, the Board of Health Director. He said, I'm going to log the messy yard as a complaint of failure to keep property clean. I have CC'd an inspector who can take a look at the property and note any compliance issues.
Thank you. Counselor Bartley?
Yeah, just to the chair,
Thanks.
First off, I would say the messy yard's got nothing to do with this permit.
Right.
Okay, it's an aside.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the applicant, the homeowner, need to figure that stuff out because it's not helping their cause.
Right.
And I think they got that message loud and clear tonight. Second off, I would urge the committee to continue the public hearing because I think you heard from the prior speaker that we need to. There's a learning curve,
Right.
and we need to get some stuff in writing, and we need to get a better understanding of what it is. And the last point is, if this committee is so inclined, and I'm not saying you should be or shouldn't be, if it is so inclined, you could put so many conditions on it under 9.7, whatever it is. I used to have memorized it now, whatever it is, 9.7 something. The ones I just mentioned, but there's probably a myriad of other conditions as well. And but I would say, just my opinion, I would like to give a guy the fair shot to at least talk to his abutters outside of this room,
Right.
and then come back with a game plan. And then I would maybe ask them how much time they would need. I don't know when your next meeting is, but maybe you could let them know, and then would that be enough time for them to have a little neighborhood powwow? So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Counselor Bartley.
Just one quick thing,
Counselor
if I
Dillon?
might. Thank you. As far as the signage, you're going to have signage on the vehicle and trailer, but no signs saying outside that this is where the business is. Right? And Flow Services is the name of your business. Is there anything else you do besides this? No. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it sounds pretty straightforward to me that this is a business that's on a trailer and gets moved around, that there's no spraying or work that should be happening at the residence. What do we want to do about the public hearing? What's the will of the body?
Well,
I'd
We would have to
make a motion to
continue
close the public hearing.
second.
it. Counselor?
I can do it. Why would you close the public hearing? Because at that point, I mean, there's more information to be gathered. I mean, you heard it from the applicant, you heard it from the abutter. I don't know why you would do that, and I don't think it's fair to anybody.
So myself, I've heard from all the members of the public, and I'm hung up on item number 3, right? For the home occupation may be allowed by special permit issued by the city council, provided that it does not utilize exterior storage of material or equipment. All right? Equipment, we have a trailer, we have a tank, and we have a pump and engine. All right? So that right there is in clear violation of the city ordinance, and in my mind, there's not much else to talk about. If we wanted to resolve it, that's exterior storage. If it was being stored in a storage bay, a storage unit on commercial or industrial property somewhere else, it'd be fine. It resolves the whole problem. But whatever the will of the body, I don't.
Did you have something?
Yeah, I have 3 concerns. I've been having them, and I was going to hold off, but I'm not sure if we should close it. Here's why, because I had 2 things that I really wanted to get out of the way. One issue that I have is the gentleman not knowing the name of this chemical. That to me is a red flag. That's one thing, and I need him to know what kind of chemical that is. There's another one, not securing it. That's a big issue for me. If you have any kind of chemical on a public space, right, in a residential area, you need to secure that. There are children in the area and people in the area, and you don't want anybody getting into this chemical. And then this gentleman here mentioned that there are multiple, so that raises another flag. So if there are multiple chemicals that are applied for this kind of business, that means that different chemicals create different issues, whether it's environmental, digestive, whatever. So there, and then that opens up another gateway to a problem. There's no way to monitor which chemicals being used. These all have to be answered before we can make a decision. And if we close the public hearing, it's not fair to these fine folks, and it's not fair to this gentleman. We need to have everything on the table, discuss it, and make a decision based on what our findings are. That's just my point. Thank you. You could still, yeah.
I'm sorry to say it's not fair, but
Your name and address again.
Lorraine Reardon, 40 Arnadale Avenue. Things aren't fair. This applicant filed under applicant for home occupancy. He does not meet home occupancy. It is not up to this board to handhold somebody's small business. I had a small business in the city. There's a lot of learning curves for small business, and I just saw Aaron Vega walk in. There are plenty of people in this city who can help people. This is a business-friendly city. I'm a friendly neighbor. I would like to see my neighbor succeed. And I bet you there's 10 people that are probably listening now that will give the guy a spot somewhere in a lot who would like the rent in a commercially zoned. This is residential too. I'm just letting everybody know, I have seriously put everybody on notice, including Whitman Properties. The vat in the top of this tank worries me. I was a child in a block when some children crawled into an incinerator and died in the city. The welfare of children is our number one concern. My family's grown. We have ways to get out of our house if we need to. There's asthma in my house, all of that. There are children, and one of these child has special needs. I was a mom, an overwhelmed mom with children. I get it. You should close the hearing. He should reapply for the correct thing, and he should be told that this trailer cannot function in that driveway as a business, which means no running of it, no galling back and forth with unknown chemicals. OSHA puts out a safety sheet for a reason. This is deep research stuff, and if we don't get it right every time on a home occupancy, and you guys don't know what the difference is, and you can't read your 5 points, and I'm not meaning to be disrespectful, but this is a perfect example of it should be closed. I appreciate everything that everybody says. Refile, start over, do it the right way, sit down with the right people, take your business elsewhere, get a lot close by, for somebody who's already zoned commercial. This is, unless you're here for a zone change, which that is not what this is either.
Right.
So, thank you again. I'm very sorry, but I think if you just think about children first, and not only those two children, anybody else's children who can just walk up, climb in, climb on top, and you can see in the picture the owner climbing up. No, it's too much of a risk. Too much of a risk. And I did tell Whitman, I put them on notice. I said, you're on notice now because you know. Okay, but now you all know too. So you just shouldn't do it.
Thank you.
There's a motion to close the public hearing. Shouldn't we take a vote on that? Oh, I'm sorry.
If the problem is to keep it outside, I mean, I could store it in my garage. The thing does not run in my yard. It's like it's meant to be, you know, I'm looking for just to keep it. Does it make a difference if it's stored in my garage or if it's stored in some industrial garage? I mean, it's still out of reach of anybody, so it's like I don't see why it has to be in an industrial lot as compared to my personal lot.
It definitely makes a difference if it's stored in a garage and it's locked at night. I mean, that's a whole different thing we're talking about here. Right now,
Okay.
you have a trailer that sits out in a driveway that's open and
Right.
anyone can access it. I think that's,
yeah, that's
the
not-
biggest concern we're hearing makes a lot of sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I would be open to put it to store it in my garage.
So that's at least one condition of a special permit. That's not everything.
Madam Chairman,
So
just should
we-
add, we haven't seen the garage.
Yeah, we have it. But I'm sure it's on the map. We can look it up. There was a motion made and seconded
To close the public hearing.
to close the public hearing.
If you can, wants to keep it open, I'll withdraw the motion.
We would have to withdraw the motion if you want to do that.
Got to be on the mic, guys.
Okay, I'd like to withdraw my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Do I have another motion?
You might want
Motion-
to continue the public hearing.
Sorry?
You might want to consider.
So that's,
the public
I was
hearing.
about to say that. So I would motion to continue the public hearing until we get all the information.
I'd second that.
What information we trying to get?
So the name of the chemicals, securing the property and figuring out how many chemicals, I believe this gentleman said there was like over 25, and having it written into conditions, this is only if it passes, written into conditions that the gentleman would be using only one specific chemical that is no harm to anyone.
If I might, we can add that the fire department does another inspection.
And the Board of
And the
Health.
Board of Health.
Garage and the
Yeah.
Board of Health
And the
as
Board of
well.
Health.
All right, so the motion has been made and seconded to extend the public hearing. I think we need a date for that. I think the next public, Jeffrey, is the next DGR on June 6th?
Yep, that's the date you've scheduled.
Does that work for you guys?
You zoom in? You can zoom in if you want. You can zoom in if you would want. I completely.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you, ma'am. So we can continue it to June 6th because that's the next meeting. There's other things scheduled as well, so we wouldn't be able to, we have to schedule it for another date, and that's the next one coming up. So if everyone's not ready at that time, maybe we can look for another date. But to continue the public hearing, we have to have a definitive date. We don't have a next one scheduled yet. Yes, sir?
Art Nats, 19 Arnolddale Avenue. I only have one concern with a continuation. I was unaware of the condition of the trailer and the vat and everything. That should be secured immediately, because those same children that we were talking about, I see them out in the roadway all the time. They don't know that that's dangerous. I have to stay away from it.
Right, because it's not locked up,
I
it's
don't know if
accessible to
there's something
anyone.
that can be imposed on that, if the trailer can be removed, what has to be done, but that's serious.
Well, the best we can do is the Board of Health has notice of this, and the fire department we're going to request that they inspect again. So that's the most that we can do.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say the Board of Health really has a lot of power, so we'll get them out there right away.
So the motion has been made and seconded to extend the public hearing to June 6th. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So this public hearing has been extended. And yeah. Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, just for the record, 6:30 PM.
Oh, thank you. June 6th at 6:30 p.m.
Motion to take up item number 3.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3 is a public hearing for a special permit application of Hassan Karuka at 263 Hamden Street for an outdoor vehicle sales lot. Mr. Karuka?
Hassan Kruka, 54 Kalish Ave, Enfield.
Motion to open a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
263 Hampton Street, I purchased back in the day from the city. It was a very bad shape. I fixed it all up. I cleaned it all up, moved it back into the tax property. And then I leased it out to the other tenants and stuff. It's never been successful business from the others. Currently, I like to do a dealership auto car sales lot there, which I have another one in Bloomfield, Connecticut. And the zoning is it's zoned to be there. It's just a special permit or a change of use needs to be done.
Okay. Let's see. Thank you. This is Business Highway. All right, thank you. Are there any members of the public who have questions or comments for Mr. Karuka? Seeing none, are there any counselors that have any questions, comments about this? Counselor Bartley, please,
Mr.
yes.
Chair, thank you for being here. Thanks for your investment. What are your business hours?
Business hours will be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
How many days?
6 days, Monday through Saturday.
Okay, and tell me about your experience in Bloomfield.
I own there about 6 years now. I have a 100-car dealership there, and we have a big inventory, and we do have lots of customers coming from Massachusetts as well.
Tell me about your familiar. So Holyoke has a ordinance. That was Mr. Soto passed that one. Got that one passed for it caps the number of vehicles that can be on a lot. You're familiar with that?
Yes,
Okay. How many vehicles can be on that lot?
10.
Okay. So you're okay with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you doing repairs there?
No, just to our vehicles, just to the cars that we will sell.
Okay. So you'll never be open to do repairs
To the public.
to the public. You would
Correct.
only do repairs on the cars that you.
Yes, you have to make sure they are safe enough to sell.
All right. And what kind of repairs would you be doing? For example,
All the safety components.
the safety.
Yeah,
component.
our majority of our work will be done in Bloomfield, in the current location. We have an 8,900 square feet facility there, and most of the time the cars will be just delivered here to be sold on here.
How would the cars get delivered here?
With trucks, we have car haulers, tow trucks.
Right. Okay. So how many vehicles? I mean, is there one? It's not one of those massive ones, right? I mean, it's not like
No, it's a 2-car trailer.
two-car trailer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And does that require a permit or a license
For
to haul those things across state lines?
no, not
No?
to cross the state lines.
No.
No.
All right.
It's a third-party company that does
Yeah.
transportation.
It's a third-party company who does the transportation.
Who's the third party?
There's plenty of them. There's a central dispatch is controlled by the DOT. they have to be, all DOT regulations.
Okay, so they're insured and all the rest of that?
Absolutely.
Okay, obviously, okay. And, I mean, think about that lot. I mean, that was a long time for an auto dealer, I mean, a long time. And so what was the condition of the building when you bought it?
Oh, it was awful. It was falling apart. I'm sure you guys have pictures in the files. There was no roof, no half of the building.
No roof?
Yeah, the roof was all caved in. Before I got it, I think it was the latest people who owned was a Deb's Lunch. I'm sure maybe some of you guys might know about it. It was a lunch box, like a breakfast and lunch place.
Yes, it was quite
And,
nice.
Yeah, and prior to that, I think it used to be a auto repair shop.
Are you going to be offering popcorn or anything like that to the kids or anything? No?
We can, yes, definitely.
A lot of kids in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it is. It used to be. I don't know how they couldn't.
A lot of kids around there.
But I always had a problem with the tenants, so right now I'm gonna try something
All right,
that I know.
Who else is in the building?
No one.
Okay, there was a tenant in
vacant.
there. It didn't work out. I looked it up. So you own the building.
I own the building as well. Yes. We had eviction case being taken
All right. So
over a year with the
if
the last tenant.
If the committee recommended on your conditions on your special permit under that thing I cited earlier, which I can't remember what it was, but believe me, it's in there. And what if they said that you can only do business Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, and that you couldn't do any kind of repairs other than safety repairs on the vehicles
That's fine.
on site?
Yeah, that's completely fine. Like I said, most of our vehicles will come from the Bloomfield location because we have like I said, almost 9,000 square feet repair facility there that we service them all the way.
And you do realize that's right in the dead center of Road Race Day. You realize that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm by the way, I'm the founder of Holyoke Pizza on South Street Plaza. I owned there about 11 years, and now my cousin is there. I started in 2011 in Holyoke. I'm familiar with all of it.
Okay. Do we meet?
Yes.
Yeah, now I know you. I know exactly who you are. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, and we also
right.
building of the
Yeah,
TNT.
no, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know. Okay,
That's what you remember.
I thought it was. Okay, yeah, it took me a minute. Okay. All right, so, but you're not my client, so let's just make real clear.
No, we spoke on the phone all the time
on the phone
about the
50
TNT
times.
building.
That's
Yeah.
right, that's right, for 540 South Street. Yes,
Yep.
that's right. Okay, it all came back to me. I know your
right,
cousin,
let's-
he's a
yeah,
good dude.
let's get the-
All right, so, okay, and just one last thing. Who's going to be running the shop?
My brother. It doesn't need much of an person out there. 1 or 2 people is more than enough to be there. And it's like I said, most of the things will be done in Bloomfield and be just shipped out to here.
Okay, so when Councilor Devine comes to you next year for the parade, you're going to be willing to cooperate with the
Absolutely,
break
why
committee?
not? We'll just make sure it's empty out there. It'll be easy for them to
Thank you,
run
Councilor
around.
Bartley. You're
All right.
having fun.
I do.
Good. So I still don't see any members of the public who'd like to speak. Do any other counselors have any questions about the special permit request? Any
No, everything
concerns?
seems in order.
Yeah, it's the right place for it. It's the right kind of business. You already own the property.
You
You're
fix
already
Next
the
door
roof.
is also a
Yeah.
dealership too.
Sorry?
Next door is also a dealership too.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Make a motion that we
Approve?
approve the,
Well, close the
close the public hearing.
the public hearing first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Make a motion that we approve the special permit.
Second.
With,
No, go ahead.
with the conditions operating 6 days a week,
9 to 6 p.m.
what are they are, 8 to
9 to 6 is
9
okay.
to 6,
9
Monday
to
through
If you want to put
Saturday.
8 to 6, it's fine too.
Okay.
8 to 6 is good.
10 vehicles.
Because we're gonna get there earlier than the time to be closed. So
So with the condition of 8
Yeah.
to 6, Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Saturday, no more than 10 vehicles on the lot.
correct.
And then we had
No repairs.
no repairs.
No repairs outside.
Other than
customers.
the for sale vehicles.
Correct.
And clear for the parade.
That's right, they better have.
It's around the
No,
corner.
you
right?
do not put that on there.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
One.
So thanks, guys.
On the motion,
On the motion, we have those 3 conditions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Good
Should
luck.
thank you. Should I see Alex in a few days for
So
the
we'll be-
licensing, or
Alex.
how long do I have to wait?
So,
Huh? Alex, the licensing board.
she
She said to, after this to go see her, but I don't know how long
Yeah,
it
so
takes.
she'll get noticed
Yeah,
tomorrow,
Madam Chair, you want to
probably.
explain how it works that we recommend here? You want to just explain it to them?
Oh, yeah, so we'll recommend it to the full city council.
Okay.
With our recommendation for approval.
Great.
And our next city council meeting is Tuesday next week.
Okay.
Is that correct? Or is it the week after? So Tuesday next week. And
Tuesday, May.
First, okay.
yeah. And then depending on the vote that comes out of there, but since it was recommended favorably, it looks like it'd probably move through. And then that'll go to all the various departments through Brenna.
Just one, there's a 20-day appeal period.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
so public has 20 days to appeal it. Assuming that doesn't happen, then you go and get your permit.
Okay.
And you get it from Mrs.
Alex.
From Brenna, the city clerk, right around the
Oh,
corner.
okay.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
Tuesday.
All right, great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, motion to take up item number 4 and
Second.
open a public hearing.
Second.
All in
Okay.
favor? Item number 4, public hearing for special permit application of Salmar Realty LLC, care of Peter Martins for a special permit for a proposed coffee shop drive-through restaurant at South Street Plaza. This was continued a few times. The most recently was February 27th. Is anyone here for this public hearing?
I
Councilor
just want to
Devine?
say that in the letter that we got, the City of Holyoke Planning Board has tentatively scheduled review of this application for their April 23rd, 2024 meeting, which is tomorrow, so maybe we could continue it until we hear
After.
from the planning board.
That makes a lot of sense. Is that a motion?
Yes.
All right, so our next meeting is June 6th, so we'll continue this to June 6th.
Did we ask if there was anybody here from the public or anything that wanted to speak?
We
We haven't-
did
we
ask,
opened
we
the
didn't close
public
it
hearing.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did ask.
Yeah, I did.
All right. And there's no one?
No?
Nope.
Okay, I thought we had a representative here.
Well,
No.
Aaron's here, but I don't know if you're here for this.
No.
Not necessarily, but I think even though it's coming from, you have to approve the use. Because you, a city property that was originally sold for cannabis use, originally was sold for retail.
Aaron.
You're different issue.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
something
Different
else.
issue, dude.
This is the drive-through on South Street. Counselor Bartley.
What was, I guess we directed you, Chair, did we hear from the applicant at all on this? Because they know this meeting?
Not for today. It was continued to today, and there's a letter here that says they won't be ready because they're meeting about it tomorrow with
Oh, there is a
planning.
letter.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, as long as
yeah.
there's a letter.
So we're gonna continue, we closed the public hearing.
Good enough. What?
I'm sorry, we continued the public hearing to June
To a date
6th.
certain in June.
June 6th
24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6:30.
at 6:30.
You got it. Okay. thank you.
All right.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'm
Yes.
going to excuse myself. I have a conflict on this issue, so I can't be present because I represent a party in this matter, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I just want that noted. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Are we doing 6?
5, right?
I'm
5.
sorry, 5.
Motion to take up item number 5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Order that the Honorable City Council accept the revised proposal for 689 Main Street as described in the letter previously submitted as a communication to the City Council. They're not here. Jeffrey, is this to be read into the public record as well?
Sorry, which item are you referring to?
Item 5, Levesque Associates.
I'm just reminding myself what item you're looking at. Apologies. Yeah, I believe it's to go with it.
Okay. So, hi. So, you are the applicant? Yes. Okay. So why don't you, yeah. Please come up and tell us about this.
You want to invite him in?
Oh, did you want to come in and have a seat?
Sure.
Okay.
Aaron, would you like to join her? Oh, here.
It's not
No?
the same
All right.
thing. So there's a button on the microphone.
Yeah, once the light is green, you're fine.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
My name is Jennifer Sharrow. I'm an attorney at Bacon Wilson, and we represent the applicant, Rich Kowalski. So the project that we're proposing, the property is 689 Main Street. Our client is seeking to purchase both the 689 parcel and the abutting 679 parcel and develop them into a climate-controlled kind of indoor self-storage facility. I have site plans and floor plans, if those weren't submitted, if you would like to review, and I can submit, so you can kind of see what the project is looking for. So the reason we are here before the committee tonight is that there is a reverter on the property. So when the property was originally sold to who is now the seller, it was sold by the city, and the city put a reverter clause on there that certain timelines needed to be met in that person's, the current owner's, planned development of the property. Those timelines and plans never came to fruition, and so instead he is now selling the property. So as the applicant, we are seeking to have the city release that reverter so that the title can be sold clean, kind of without that holding over. My client is willing to accept a new reverter from the city. He is committed to development of the project. He has a great idea, and we are seeking, should that be a contingency, 3 years to hit substantial completion, solely because this is going to be a bit of a larger project. However, that doesn't mean we're looking for a delay or it's going to take time. There's, in fact, a meeting already scheduled tomorrow that we're attending, I believe, with the planning board. So they're ready. They're moving forward. We've got site plans. We need to sell the property first and buy it for our client so we can really move forward and get going with this.
Who's your client?
Rich Kowalski.
Okay, you did say that. Thank you.
So really what we're looking to do here, we're still going to have a reverter clause. We're just looking to transfer the ownership of the reverter clause, or not the ownership of it, the recipient of it.
We're looking for a new one, so not the exact kind of terms and conditions. The previous reverter, I have a copy of it. It was kind of specific to that project. It talks about a technical proposal that was submitted, kind of other certain timelines. I think it's something that would be worked out between probably us and the city attorney to work out the specific details of what that would be, in order to properly reflect what the new project and their timelines and everything are going to be.
Okay. I see we have
Attorney
Attorney
Bissonnette.
Bissonnette.
Attorney Bissonnette, did you have a question
Hello, everyone.
for him?
Yeah. So have you already worked on or looked at the new reverter clause, what it would be, or?
No specifics have been worked out to that.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that the request is to get rid of this reverter so you can kind of start over. So we need to get rid of the reverter so that the property can be sold, and then the new owner is interested in creating a new reverter for the new business.
I mean, he doesn't have, I mean, it's if the city thinks that
Requires it.
there's, cause for concern. The reverter is you take back the property at certain previously established purchase points should certain timelines not be met. It does put a lot on the city, and it makes a lot of sense when it's the city selling the property. It's kind of, it should be more kind of collaborative now that it's two kind of independent parties. It's not the city property anymore, but it is subject to this reverter, which was never acted on previous.
Right.
But, personally, my clients, the reverter isn't necessary to force the improvements to happen. They're ready, they're willing, they want this project to move forward, with all due haste, as much as possible.
Understood. Counselor Sullivan, did you have a question for Attorney Bissonnette?
Yeah, I think so. Mike, could you, we don't have what the wording of a new reverter would be, do we?
No, we have
No.
not. The
Right.
new proposal proposed to currently.
So, Councilor Sullivan, and Madam Chair, if I may, what's before you is the new proposal. That would substitute for the old proposal in response to the city's RFP. The city's original RFP came back with this proposal that was accepted by the council. So for this project to move forward now, a sort of subrogation needs to take place. The city will withdraw its old reverter under the agreement that, based upon the representations made in this proposal, a new reverter representing that proposal will take its place once the sale has gone through. So these folks would be the new owner. There would be a reverter. It would save the city time from having to go back, retake the property, maybe have to go to land court, delaying this or any other project for further years. So this seems to be a good resolution. The city will see a project there that seems to have real merit. But as a matter of financing and getting all our ducks in a row, I think this would be substituted for the position the city is in now, which is an uncompleted project and a reverter that would probably be best set as withdrawn, released, and then substituted with this new arrangement with the new owners. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Sullivan.
Yep, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you, Attorney Bissonnette.
So do we make a motion to delete the old reverter clause?
I-
Yeah,
Counselor
that's my
Bissonnette?
Attorney Bissonnette, do we have to?
Yes. You don't, what you have to do is accept the proposal to substitute.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I'd make a motion if there's, sorry, I don't
Accept
want
the
to step on your
proposal.
toes
No,
here.
please.
Second?
A motion that we accept the revised proposal for 689 Main Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Proposal accepted. Well, we will send our positive recommendation to the full city council.
Thank you.
Get to work.
Okay. So this I need. No. Don't bother. Next motion. Anybody?
Motion to take up item number 7.
Second?
Are we on 6?
Second.
Are we skipping
That
6?
was loud. You. You're good.
Aren't we on 6? No?
Oh, I'm sorry. Item number 6. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6 is order that the city council approve an amendment to a home rule petition for the purposes of expanding the Center City liquor license area. What's this? Counselor Bartley, did you want to speak on this one?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Aaron brought this to my attention, or brought to all our attention, right? And we had a great meeting, man, with when Aaron was a rep, and we had John Skybeck from South Hadley. He was here. It was a really terrific meeting, and they were talking about how they got this cranked up in the Mass Legislature and approved by the governor. And so that takes half a minute, and they did it. And so when we passed it way back when, in the Stone Age of the 2010s, whatever it was, and then come to find out, we had some petitioners here on another matter, and Aaron said, no, this thing only goes so far on High Street. What? I mean, I didn't have the map memorized, but I thought it was like, I had a different map in my head that was from High Street all the way down, and I was wrong. So I want Aaron to take the ball and run with it, but the hope is that if we do pass this, it's a really nice feature, and so I hope everybody knows what this is. It's not just to give everybody a liquor license to sell booze. It's to get more restaurants going, and you got to have table-side service, and it's already paid some dividends. Not as much as we hoped when we originally did this, Aaron. I think you'll agree. 10 years ago, and it was really at the prompting of Danny Bresnahan. He was big. He was big behind this, and Jimmy Leahy. So anyway, I hope we use this as an economic driver, if anything, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Aaron?
Yeah, pretty good summary, Counselor. So I wasn't sure if I was being recognized. So yeah, as was mentioned, when this was done 10 years ago, so the snapshot of High Street was a little bit different. I think many of us are encouraged by the economic development happening on the north end of High Street, from, I would say, basically from Dwight Street to Lyman. There's new property owners there. There's already new restaurants that have come there, and so yes, this was exactly as Councilor Bartley said, would expand just the High Street zone, doesn't touch the other zones, and doesn't change any of the policies. So it's still dinner services required, at least some form of table service. Obviously, there's a little bit of leeway there. Fame has one of these liquor licenses, so you can order food at the counter, but it has to be brought to you. And then El Paricio Colombio is the other one that has this liquor license. There are a few that are that are designated in different zones for off-site consumption, i.e. a liquor store, but the vision for that really was more for perhaps a development example at Open Square, more of like a provisions type of liquor store. We have plenty of liquor stores already, so those have not been at all been talked about. So this one is purely for restaurants and purely expands the zone to include the rest of High Street, where we already know there's at least one restaurant that's encouraging and talking to us about at least getting a seasonal to start. They'd be very interested in this, and we know that there's, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 storefronts that hopefully will be activated in the next year and a half that could have restaurants.
All right. And
then I guess this is the last point today. So like the approval here is only the second step, if you will, right? We did the work here to figure this out first, and then your approval. But this does go back to Rep. Duffy for an amendment at the state level. So, so this is a home rule petition.
And is this the area on the map here? That's the added area is on like the main
I'm not sure
street.
which, because there was 3 documents we sent. So the cover document had both maps, and then I think the last 2 documents had a detail of the current and then the next.
Right.
So yes. So yep. So it's just you can see that it encompasses this last block of High Street.
Right.
The last section, but it's not included now. And then there's a bunch of technical mapping with the actual designation of the borders of the district.
Right. So the main street corridor didn't change. That was always like that. Nothing was added to that.
Nothing was added to Main
Okay.
Street, just the High Street corridor. And also just for yourselves and for people listening at home, this again is just a first step. So the city owns these liquor licenses, just in case you don't understand it. So the city owns these liquor licenses. We issue them out for $10,000. We actually pay their first year renewal of their first apply or their first renewal, so it's actually $9,000. They do not own this liquor license. If the restaurant closes, it comes back to the city. So it's not an asset. They don't sell it. The second piece is that any applicant gets approval from the redevelopment authority first, so we vet their plan. They still have to go to the ABCC and do the whole licensing process that way. So this is not just because they come to us and say, hey, we want a liquor license, we just hand it out. So it's still, even though they're different, they're not an asset, they still are beholden to the same ABCC application as anyone would be.
Councilor Barton?
Just through the chair. Aaron, that's a great summary, and as you know, because you've worked out in Boston so many years, there's the ABCC. I mean, they don't play around, so it's very serious.
Yep.
And our license board does a great job too. They're very serious about it too. So that's one thing I want to make sure that the public understands. We're not passing these out like candy. One thing I'm just not clear on is, and I should have done my due diligence. I didn't do as much as I needed to. The expansion is to Lyman Street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In your opinion, would further expansion be warranted elsewhere? Should instead of going through these gymnastics a second or third time, should that be a consideration for? I mean, are there other sections of the downtown eligible? And perhaps, what are they? If you could let us know, what are they? And would you like us to consider that as well at the full city council? I mean, and then just for, if you would tell the public, you know, where does the cutoff happen? In other words, it has to be in a specific block. I mean, you know, the federal block thing. So.
Oh no, it's not tied to census tracts.
It's not
tied to
okay.
census tract. It's tied to the parameters in those large paragraphs that list the dimensions. So yeah, it's not tied to the census.
Okay, so because people are watching this, and so hey, how come I can't get one in West Holyoke or wherever? So what?
So,
if
okay.
you just talk about
Sure.
one, is there anywhere else in the recognized zone where we could expand it, and should we do it now? And two, after you're done with that part, just want to, you know, why isn't it all over the city?
Yeah, great questions. Okay, so typically, additional over quota liquor licenses for a municipality are voted on one at a time, and it's very, one could see it as a little more controversial because basically a city is often going to the legislature saying, I want to get an extra liquor license for this business in particular. So that's usually how it happens. We, and I'm not going to comment on the city councils that were involved. I was involved with the OPED office at the time. So, but we looked at it as an economic development tool, was to say, we don't know yet what the restaurants are, but these areas are where things are starting to happen in downtown, and let's create these zones. So it was very groundbreaking. I mean, it was sort of like they want 13 liquor licenses, and so it was definitely a different program for them, for the state to adopt. And we sort of worked with them at the ABCC and the legislature and the council, and it came to fruition. So they understood what we were trying to do, to have these at the ready. And you're right. I think that enough marketing wasn't necessarily done in the beginning, and we do try to promote them more now. Why? So the current zones, could we look at Main Street? Perhaps, but I think that there is also, I think we also need to be cautious in the more we expand this, do current liquor license holders have any, would they have any objections? And I don't think necessarily, because if we remember back to 2014, which was, I had a little less gray hair then, but Pat Bresnahan was actually interviewed about this program, and he was all for it. He's like, no, I want more restaurants. I want more things around Brendan's. There wasn't pushback. To create a whole new zone might be a heavier lift. That'll be a separate home rule petition. So I think amending the current home rule petition to expand this border, or if we wanted to look at other borders, I think it's gonna be an easier lift. If we were to create a whole new zone, it'd be starting a whole new home rule petition process. So the idea was that this was really, at the time, one more tool in the toolbox for downtown redevelopment. So, you know, the mall, again, restaurants that come to the mall can buy in the open market. They can afford, you know, these larger chain restaurants can afford a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 liquor license. Can Fame, can Calmelia's, can Colombian Restaurant or support a $50,000 liquor license? Probably not. So it really was to sort of how do we, again, focus on smaller businesses, more, not chain restaurants. So that's why we sort of chosen these zones. I think, does that sort of address? So yes, so again, we wanted to sort of use it as the economic tool and for sort of smaller businesses, not focused on the mall area.
Again, through the chair, yes, that's a great summary. I do want you to touch on, why not West Holyoke and all that. I want you to touch on that just a little, expand more. But one thing I would just ask you to, if you would consider it, because, Carmen's kind of new, Jenny's been on the board now for just her 3rd year. Would you be willing to maybe just take them to the side and maybe just have a private, meeting just in the wards with them? Because I personally would like to see it expanded to all sorts of areas where economic opportunity maybe hasn't played as much of a role as we'd like. And to get more restaurants, man, I just think this is innovative, and I'm just hopeful we can, you should hear I listen to a million radio programs, and you should hear people talking about all the restaurants in Holyoke and the variety.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
Which is nice. So this is people outside of town. So this is good.
Oh, absolutely. We're getting.
This is positive news. We're known for something other than whatever. So
we're known for a lot of good stuff.
So hopefully get known for some diverse cuisine. So I'm sure Carmen will be all ears. I'm sure Jenny will be all ears to talk about it. So just a.
Our door's always open. The councilors want to come over and talk. Absolutely. So I think that the other. I guess going back to your first question, why not West Holyoke? I guess if there was an area that we thought was already zoned and ready for restaurant development, I think it would make sense. But obviously, we wouldn't have a zone on Appermont Highway, or it wouldn't be. It wouldn't. Something could happen there, but I don't think that there is anything kind of cooking like we're trying to do downtown. So. There was these first conversations happened. I think with the council and OPED at the time, the mall was considered, and it was sort of no, because those are bigger chain restaurants again that can afford an open on the market liquor license. It wasn't, now we know that there's limited liquor licenses. Would it make sense to have another additional area? Perhaps. The Main Street corridor could be looked at, but again, it is a chunk of it is included. Yeah, we did an op-ed. We put an op-ed out. I think that's what garnered some positive press when it was noted that Northampton was having some liquor license issues, and we put out a press release saying, "Hey, we got liquor license in Holyoke. If you can't get one in Northampton, come on over." So we definitely leverage that as much as we can. So again, I just think if we were to create a whole new zone, it would be a separate home rule petition, which of course we could do. But if we were to expand any of these current zones, that could be done in this amendment. So we only came with this, again, because of really those last 2 blocks of High Street, where we're actually seeing much more investment than we saw for the last 30 years, right? So again, new building owners, new restaurants coming in that area on its own. None of them have liquor licenses, so this was sort of, let's get that area involved.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councilor Devine?
I keep butting it. Hi, Aaron. Thank you for coming down. And any city councilor that has not been up to the 4th floor to your offices have got to go. It's one of the best run offices and different places to go meet people.
Lots going on.
So I really congratulate everybody in your department for doing that. So right now, these liquor licenses are mainly for High Street area?
Well, there's actually 3 little zones, but yes, there's the Main Street zone. I only printed the front page, so the page, I don't know if you printed it in color, but yeah, if you look, there's a zone down here, kind of includes open square area.
Okay.
Right, because we are always hopeful that open square is going to be additionally developed.
Yeah.
The next order talks about that a little bit. And then this is the Main Street, the High Street corridor.
Okay.
And then, like I said, there was a few that are designated for off premises, but no one's ever approached us for those. Okay. And I think, and again, with the redevelopment authority, we'd be very, very do our due diligence and really would want something a little more high end. We had talked about more like a provisions type place in Holyoke. Okay.
And the reason I asked you about the Main Street was because we do have an order coming up tonight about having to create a state-authorized cultural district named the Puerto Rican Cultural District. So if that, I'm not sure, we
Right.
haven't even talked about that yet,
Right.
but if that's a possibility to use some of these liquor licenses, that might be good, so.
Yep, some of
but-
that's included in that area, and
Okay.
and again, I think, also to one thing that we do encourage some of the newer restaurants to do, and we're really lucky that our the licensing board and of course our licensing clerk is. I mean, I know there's been other people in that position over time, and not throwing anybody under the bus, but she has done more trainings with the ABCC and has done just an amazing job. Alexandra's just done a great job keeping that board going forward and abiding by the laws and trying to keep everything above board. We encourage a lot of these when these first people start up, is to get a seasonal liquor license, right? It's because that way it's a low entry fee to get in there, and they can test it out. And for some restaurants, that might actually be the best way, because, for instance, we're talking to Camelia's. She's a lunch and breakfast place. Maybe she doesn't need a full liquor license. She just wants to be able to serve, mimosas and Bloody Marys at brunch on Sundays, right? So seasonal might make more sense for her, and then there's 3 months of the year where she can't serve, right? That might be all she needs, but maybe, hopefully, she'll be looking to expand.
Yeah.
So, again, we could, we have some time, because this, I can tell you right now, we've already talked to Rep. Duff, we've already talked to the committee. This will pass this calendar year. It will not pass by the end of June, right? So the legislative session formally ends at the end of June. This is a non-controversial thing. It'll pass an informal session. My guess is like September, October. So but again, we could go back again and relook at it, amending it a second time. You're right, it's another lift, but so up to if you want us to go look back at Main Street, we can go back and look back at Main Street and see if there's some more expansions there. Happy to meet with the councilors, and then we can sort of come back to you if you want to do that.
Okay. But just once again, congratulations on a well-run department up there.
Thank you. Small but mighty.
Yeah, but it is mighty.
Thank you both. Any other questions from counselors? No?
Make a motion to approve the amendment to the home rule petition for the purpose of expanding the city center liquor license area.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll send it with our recommendation to the
And
full
we'll
city
keep doing our
council.
due diligence and continue to look at other options in this too.
It sounds like there would be other than just neighborhoods in general that might,
There could be,
benefit
yeah,
from
but again,
something
it
like
becomes a
this.
little
Yeah.
bit, yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we still have one more for you, right?
Yep.
Anybody?
Motion to take up item number 7.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 7, that the city council approves a resolution for certified housing development incentive program project, including a local tax increment exemption agreement, TIE, with Open Square Properties for the new downtown market rate housing development at 4 Open Square Way.
So thank you. So again, I want to also give a shout out to John Dijeks, who's behind me, who has been, instrumental in working this program with all of you over the last few years, and again, one of these few tools in the toolbox. So just briefly, the city council, I don't know the date, I was on the city council when we approved the HDIP zone. So there's a certain zone in the city that is available to receive this Housing Development Incentive Program. It's the only state program that's a subsidy for market rate housing. So that's important to note, that this is the only subsidy for market rate housing. It's not the light tech, it's not the low income tax credit, there's no income restrictions on this. This is purely for market rate housing. And so there's a zone here, and of course, Open Square is in that zone. As with any tax increment agreement, the base taxes never change. This only kicks in when the project is completed and is only on the new value. We have taken notes over the last couple of years and working with the city council on a couple other of these, so it's pretty much boilerplate, if you will, of the timeline that we put forward to you. So it's only a 5-year tax break. So again, the first year it's 100% of the new value. You still get the original tax. So again, it does not impact the original tax that we currently get on any property. The second year they get a 20% exemption, so they'd be paying 20% of the new value, and then 40, 60, 80 till the 5th year. We've been lucky to be working with a consultant, Lynn Sweet, who we have brought on for the last couple of years through a grant that we received through Mass Housing. She's been working with a number of developers here in the city, a bunch of stuff on High Street. Hope to see some construction next summer, but we probably brought in about almost $2 million to a couple different developers on High Street. We very recently connected her with the Nats on 123 Pine Street. She's working with a number of, she's working with Open Square, so kind of all over the city. And she has been able to sort of help these developers navigate the documentation and the process for applying for these grants and these credits at the state level. So at long last, I know many of you have been on the council for a long time, or obviously been in Hoyok for a long time, your whole lives. Finally, we see Open Square coming to the next step of realizing the vision of a multi-mixed use facility, what John Aubin started. The new owners have owned the property for just over a year, so they are, it takes a little time to get all their ducks in order and get stuff together, but they have architectural plans. They are with us now to propose a 84-unit development in one of the mill buildings. I believe it's the middle mill building. So if you look at, if you had aerial view of Open Square, it's basically an E. It'd be that middle building, so basically across from Comfort Bagel, that entrance. It's a totally empty building right now. And so this would be, again, that one tool in the toolbox that we have for market rate housing. They'll probably have a mix. They'll probably have some more affordable units in that range, but they can kind of play with the 80 to 110% or 120% median income with the HDIP. Some of you also may recall that we approved a recent HDIP application. We actually had to cancel is not the right word, but end one because it just didn't happen. Because for almost 5 years, the HDIP program wasn't funded at the state level. So projects just sort of sat waiting. We do have an approved TIF, HDIP for the Tony Whitman's property at the Hotel Jess. And then you recently approved another one a couple years, I think last year. So it's finally been refunded at the state level. There's 3 times where people can apply to the HDIP program. So one's coming up, and then one's in August, and one's at the end of the year. So again, this is the first step in that, a local approval. They then take that with their application to the state level and hopefully get approved, and then they can start to move forward on their project. So one thing I will say, happy Passover to those that celebrate. Obviously, they're not watching tonight if they're celebrating Passover. So both the owners and the consultant are celebrating, observing, I guess is maybe the right word, observing Passover. And so they're not able to be here tonight. So again, John and I can answer any questions if you feel you would want to move this forward. If you feel that you want to meet with the owners, we can either do that at the next meeting. You could approve it contingent on meeting them. I'm open to however you want to move forward. But I think if you're going to have, if we have some questions about this, I think that we should wait till we get the consultant and the owners in front of you, which is fine. Although I think I heard that you're not meeting again until June, so a little late, but we will figure that out.
I just wanted to clarify because I always get confused by the tie agreement. I thought it went the other way around. So can you explain? You said people are paying 100% of the property value before they make improvements.
So the easiest way to do it is this, and so also just a tie is for housing and a TIF is for commercial. They're both the same thing, an incremental tax program. So the easiest way to do it is I say this: you have a property, you pay me $1 a year for the taxes, right? That's what the property is worth. So you give me that $1 a year. You put in $1 million to that property, it's only you're going to give me $2 a year. But we say, wow, you did that investment. You had it costs a lot. We want to be a partner in this, a private-public partnership. We say, year one, still give us that $1. Year two, give me $1.20, $1.40, $1.60, $1.80, and then the 5th year, you give me the $2. So it's just, so I still get that $1.
Because it says here, year one, 100%, year two, 80%.
80%. No, 80% forgiveness. 80%. 80%. You're not. Yeah, you're forgiven 100% the new value in year one.
Okay.
You're forgiven 80% the new value.
Gotcha.
The new value.
So that's the forgiveness.
Yeah, that's the forgiveness. I just lost the word I want to use, but yes, that's the forgived amount of the new value. Exemption. 100% exemption the first year, 80% exemption, 30, 60, so yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is kind of like reverse what you would think, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's, yep.
Okay. That makes more sense
Yeah.
then. Counselor Sullivan?
Yeah, so Aaron, my only one hang-up here would be, what triggers the start of year one?
Oh, certificate of occupancy. Certificate of occupancy, once the project's done.
Okay, so, but they're calling for 87 units, right?
Mm-hmm.
Supposing they get 2 floors done, they've got,
Be total, it would be the full project. Yeah, good.
right,
Yeah.
so what I'm getting at here is they could get 40 units done, begin renting while they're still working on other units,
And they'd get no exemption
so they would have no exemption.
until the 84 units are completed and the certificate of occupancy, that's when the exemption would kick in. So if they turn around and phase it, that's fine. They'll pay, it would be kind of
They'd pay,
that would be kind of a math nightmare for our assessors, but they would do it, right? So they would increase the value by 40 units, their taxes would go up, they'd get no exemption because they hadn't fulfilled the full project.
and if their plans change midway through and they only do 60 units,
We'd have to come back and then renegotiate it. They'd have to come back to us and renegotiate it, and we'd have to come back to
so
you.
this is only for exactly what's laid out, no change.
Right, which is one of the reasons why when we decertified, thank you for the brain kicking back in, when we decertified the Canal Row project, one of the reasons was, I mean, in addition to the HDIP not being available, but in our conversations with the potential developers there, it started to change. It started to change significantly enough that we said, you know what? This is not the approved plan that the HRA approved. This is not the tie agreement that was approved. Why don't we just decertify this? And if you want to come back, we can start over. Right? And so then they were in agreement with that, and so that all worked out. So again, this agreement can be active or in place for a couple of years. And again, we'll review them. And again, like we came in a little while ago and decertified 2 projects with you last year. So, but yes, the exemption would not kick in to the full full plan, and the project is complete.
Okay, that was my only question.
Good question.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions from here? Counselor Bartley?
Yeah, I just have a comment, but, so the TIF, we've had some success with that, right? Sublime would come to mind.
Right.
I also have to compliment the OPED on listening to us, and again, we don't dictate anything, but when this committee said we're sick and tired of giving 5-10-year tax breaks like somebody had on Jackson Street, and then it came back and got a little salty with all of us. But your body listened to us, and department listened to us, and look what we have. We have two massive taxpayers at the Providence and up at the geriatric. I mean, they're huge taxpayers. So that's important. And when I hear the administration saying, that we're dictating things, we're not. We're just trying to advocate for the city that we live in, and we hope to have some success. But you guys listened, and it's paid off. So that's a compliment, and I hope others are listening to us, because that's not what we're about. We're not about telling you what to do, just giving our thoughts, and you implement it. So that was kudos to you. Tell me about the investment of, so they bought that property for $12 million or thereabouts. I don't want to be quoted exactly, but I don't think I'm off by much. So we have letters of credit. We know they're liquid or whatever, and I know they're celebrating the holidays, and that's great. I hope we ship this right up to City Council. I don't think there's any reason to wait, but that's up to the body, obviously. But whatever. But
So 2 comments on that. So first, I appreciate the shout out, and also, I mean, one of the reasons why, we were already thinking about it, but also again listening to you and working with the City Council. One of the main reasons why we went out to that Jackson Street TIF was to say, let's right this ship a little bit, and so we can still get approval for future ones, right? So we listened to you guys absolutely, and want to continue working together on this. All their financials, full site plans, all have to be submitted to the state for this approval. So we will see all that as well, but the state will run them through the ringer. I mean, Tony Whitman, Whitman Properties, has the approval for the Hotel Jess, and it is you guys aren't hard compared to what they have to deal with at the state level. So I mean, to the point where the entity at the state level is working with his architect. I mean, they're getting to the point where they're working with the architect and making changes to the plans. So yes, all the financials are reviewed by the state, even more due diligence than we would be able to do, and all their plans are reviewed by the state before it's approved at the state level. So again, this is only our approval, because again, we're going to give a tax break, which is, significant for the city. The state gives a much bigger benefit. And so they're going to do much more due diligence. So yes, we'll get all those plans, but the state reviews all of it additionally.
Yeah, and then, you can't minimize what John Aubin did.
Absolutely, he set the stage, yep.
I mean, that building, Mike would know how many square feet are in it, but it's tens of thousands of square feet. It is a white elephant, if there ever was one.
Yeah.
And yet, here we are. I mean, and then he built it up, so now you got the guys coming in from wherever, New York or wherever, and now they're wanting to put 84, and you don't hear anybody in this body complaining about getting housing built.
Right.
I hear it from our sister cities and the pretty little towns out by Boston, Middlesex, whatever. But you don't hear us complaining. We want it. We want people to move here and live here and have success. And look at the guys on Ray Street.
There's Ray Street. I mean, Jennifer and I just met with two developers this morning who are one's local and one's from Boston. They're like, yeah, we don't want to develop in Somerville, Cambridge. That area. We want to come out here. So we're talking to a lot of people between things like Open Square. Obviously, Sublime has garnished a lot of attention for us. So yeah, things are definitely moving in the right direction. I'm hopeful that 6 of the 20 irons in the fire we have come to fruition over the next 2 years. We'll be in good shape. And more than 6 will be even better.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you both. Any other questions? Nope. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool to me.
Okay. I will just say if
Did
you.
John have one?
Sorry, John. Can you come up to a mic?
The only thing I was going to say is he gets ready.
Any
The only thing I
mic.
was going to say is if you do approve it tonight, because it is pretty. I don't
Yeah.
want to use the word boilerplate, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that the developers and the consultant are here at the full council meeting.
Yeah.
If there's any questions for them.
Hi, everyone. John Dijak from the OPED office. Just one technical item. Aaron covered all the information, but there was an error on the order when it was listed as Open Square Properties, and the order should be Open Square Realty LLC. That was on the order and the resolution. So I just wanted to point that out. I did communicate that to Jeffrey. He was tremendous in helping us make that correction. So I just wanted to make sure we do that before.
So instead of properties, realty?
Realty LLC.
Yeah, it should be Open Square, and it's been corrected. Jeffrey's helped to correct that, but it's Open Square Realty LLC.
All the paperwork has the right thing on it.
Yeah. I think the paperwork does. I think
Yeah,
the order.
just
The order itself.
But I believe
right.
it probably should be amended.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be amended, correct.
So
So
thank you.
we should amend the order to reflect the actual name. Can I get a second
Thank you,
on that?
John.
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, motion to amend
Oh,
Okay,
the
but
order to reflect.
Open
Word
Square
realty. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Realty.
properties.
Yes. All in favor?
I
All right.
All right,
would make a motion to approve the resolution for the Certified Housing Development Incentive Program.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will recommend it to council. We expect to see the whole team there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron
Yeah, thanks so much.
and John.
Motion
You should,
to
you
ta-
gotta go up there. Gotta go up
Motion to
that
take up
office.
item number 8 off the table.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Item 8. Order that the city council sign and support the attached amended resolution to create a state-authorized cultural district for at least 10 years to be named the Puerto Rican Cultural District. It's my understanding that the current cultural district was a 5-year, and so this amendment would make it 10. I believe Stephanie from Mass in Motion is here to talk about this online.
Hi, I'm here. I'm online.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
We sure can.
Hi. So back in the wintertime, we did submit for the resolution to get signed. And when we submitted our application with MCC, there was one condition was that we changed the resolution that was signed by City Council from 5 to 10 years. It just expands the amount of work that we can do and the naming of the district through the state.
Do we have any questions?
Just the wording for at least, that kind of,
I think in the resolution, it would just change from 5 to 10 years. I don't know if you guys have a copy of the resolution there.
Yeah, the resolution says to create a state cultural district for at least 10 years.
Yeah, so it would, we have the contract with MCC to do it for at least 10 years, and then we have the decision to expand it further after the 10 years.
And just to be clear, the MCC is the Mass Cultural Council?
Yes, Mass Cultural Council.
And this helps the city, or that this helps to qualify for certain projects in this district, or?
Yeah, so it just helps the reactivation, revitalization of Main Street and the surrounding areas. And we also qualify for more opportunities through Mass Cultural Council and also through other opportunities because we're named the district.
Nice. This is in your ward, isn't it, Carmen? How do you feel about it? Counselor?
Yes, it is.
If we don't have any other questions, I would entertain a motion. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I do too. Motion to approve the change to 10 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we will send this to council for approval. Thank you,
Thank
Stephanie,
you.
and thanks for your patience.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
You too.
All right, and the rest of the agenda items are laid on the table, so we're gonna just leave them there, I guess. Right, we good?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night, y'all.
Everybody.